My wife said her affair was a deeper connection while I was raising our kids, so I took the house, the car, and my freedom. Wife and I have been married for 8 years, together for a few more before that, and we have 2 small kids. This year's been rough. We've had our share of arguments, but nothing that I ever thought would push her to cheat. Lately, though, I noticed her becoming distant and withdrawn. One evening I decided to confront her. That's when she told me she wasn't happy anymore and didn't feel a spark between us. At first, I blamed myself. Maybe I'd been neglectful, not attentive enough, a fair point to be honest. But the very next day, I saw a strange message pop up on her phone. It was overly affectionate. My heart sank. I looked through more messages and discovered she'd been talking to another man for a long time. Messages filled with, "I love you," and talk about a future together. I was absolutely shattered. Following the advice from many threads I'd read online, I didn't confront her immediately. Instead, I gathered as much information as I could. I consulted a few lawyers, retained one, and got my head on straight. A few days later, I calmly confronted her and asked if she was having an affair. After a couple of minutes, she admitted everything. Long story short, it had been going on for 6 months, and she claimed it was the deepest emotional connection she's ever had. Total nonsense, but whatever. I gave her my list of boundaries. Cut off contact, no more communication, and I wanted it done in front of me. That's when things really fell apart. She got visibly upset about ending contact, especially when I insisted it be done in front of me. She even asked to see him one last time for closure. I stood my ground and told her, if he's that important, pack a bag and go live with him. She backed off, but not before calling me a controlling asshole. She sent him a message this morning and showed it to me, but my gut tells me she'll try reaching out in other ways. At this point, I don't think there's any hope left, and honestly, I'm not sure I want there to be. Still, I wanted to be able to look my kids in the eye someday and say, I tried. We have marriage counseling scheduled for tomorrow, but I'm seriously considering filing before wasting more time and emotional energy. I'm just hesitant to move too fast because of the kids. But is this really the right way to handle things? The past few weeks have been awful, no other way to put it, but they've given me time to think, reflect, and process. As a follow-up to my last post, my wife and I did attend some counseling after that first confrontation. I'll say, this counselor has been great, neutral, supportive of both of us, and focused on helping us navigate this new reality. She's also been instrumental in uncovering some deeper, structural problems in our relationship. While none of that excuses my wife's behavior, it's been helpful to identify those patterns, so I don't carry them into any future relationship. As I mentioned before, my wife's reaction to my boundary, cutting off contact, wasn't encouraging. I caught a few small messages between them before she wiped her chat logs and locked her phone. After that, I decided I'd had enough. I filed for divorce, and she was served a few days ago. Around the same time, I had a heart-to-heart with my father-in-law. He and I are very close, and I needed to focus on building a support system for our kids, something stable amid the chaos. I could tell my wife wanted to sweep everything under the rug, act like none of this happened. But our therapist talked to her about my side of things and why I needed to take these steps. That seemed to hit her. She started to grasp the consequences, to realize what's actually being lost here. Now I'm just trying to wrap my head around the life ahead of me. This sudden shift in identity from husband and father to something completely different. The same applies to her. One thing I've noticed, since I filed, she's been visibly shaken. I don't think she ever believed I'd actually walk away. She's emotional, on edge. I've kept my distance, but the shift in her has been obvious. Surprisingly, we've even started talking a bit more again. And lately, those conversations, they've been civil, focused, almost normal. We mostly stick to talking about the kids. I've been very clear with her. She left a deep wound in me, and if there's ever going to be a path toward forgiveness, she's the one who'll have to carry the burden. She needs to give me the time and space to heal. I'll say it again. What she did was selfish, cruel, and one of the worst things you can do to someone. But through it all, I've kept my focus on our children. They're my top priority as I figure out how to transition into the next chapter of my life and find my own happiness. I really want to thank everyone for their previous support and comments. I'm genuinely proud that I didn't drown in anger or sadness, that I stayed composed, made smart decisions, and protected my dignity while looking toward a better future. I don't have all the answers, and my emotions are still all over the place, but for the first time in a while, I'm starting to feel a little bit of peace. So again, thank you. I'm now in the post-serving phase and working closely with my attorney. What I'm hoping to learn from others here is, has anyone taken advantage of the affair fog to secure better divorce terms? If so, how did you pull it off? My soon-to-be ex-wife is clearly still deep in that fog, still secretly reaching out to the affair partner. I haven't confronted her about it because, honestly, it's keeping her distracted, which works in my favor right now. What kind of agreements did people manage to secure that were unexpected? Any tips or strategies for navigating this phase, or keeping her off balance, would be incredibly helpful. I've already been using the gray rock method and the 180 approach. I've also started going out more unexpectedly and keeping quiet about what I'm doing. Advice on gray rocking during divorce proceedings. Hey everyone, I've posted a few threads about this ongoing mess. The short version, wife cheated, I found out, and she hit me with the classic, "I love you but I'm not in love with you" line, plus the whole "AP is the deepest emotional connection I've ever had" nonsense. She followed that up with gaslighting, trickle truth, the full playbook, so I served her divorce papers. Now, a few weeks later, here we are. We're still cohabitating for the time being, mainly because I want to spend as much time as possible with my kids. I've moved into a separate room, which has helped create some emotional distance. I've been implementing the gray rock method with my wife, keeping interaction to a bare minimum. But of course, with kids around, I have to put on a bit of a front. They're still young, but they pick up on tension. I've also stopped making myself so available in the evenings. I go out with friends, hit the gym, whatever helps me stay grounded. That said, I'd love more advice on handling this phase. It's a tricky balance. I want to bond with my kids, so I've kept up with family dinners and routines. But are there any major do's and don'ts I should keep in mind? I've posted a few times already, and for those who don't know the full story, wife cheated, claimed it was the deepest emotional bond of her life, hit me with the "love you but not in love" routine. I filed for divorce, and it's been about a month and a half since D-Day. I've been doing everything I can to move forward. This isn't really an update, more of a call-out. If you've gone through something similar, I'd love to hear your advice. Lessons you learned, things you'd do differently, strategies that helped, anything. The guidance I've gotten so far has been incredible, and I'm just putting out feelers to see if there's more wisdom I can gather. She cheated, but I'm made to feel like the a-hole. Hey everyone, if you've read my past posts, you know the story. Wife cheated, claimed it was the greatest emotional connection ever. I served the divorce papers, and now the whole thing's in motion. But I wanted to ask, how did people handle it when in-laws, mutual friends, or even your own family started treating you like the bad guy? I did get ahead of the narrative by telling some family and a few in-laws what really happened. I didn't blast it everywhere though, because I wanted to maintain some privacy. Still, I'm getting cold vibes from a lot of her family and a few mutual friends. I know the saying, blood is thicker than water, but it still stings when people you were close to turn their backs on you, especially when you were a good husband and father, and your wife is the one who broke everything. Did people eventually come around and see the truth, or did I just stop caring and learn to let go? As of today, though, it feels like closure is finally finding its way to me. This whole saga that started back in the summer, it's finally starting to end. I've been posting here, seeking advice, and I want to start by thanking this entire community. The support and wisdom, especially from those who privately messaged me, has been incredible. Going through this while being far from close family has been brutal. Being alone with your thoughts can be painful, but I've found some clarity and personal growth along the way. For anyone who needs a recap, one of the many threads is still up, but the short version? My wife cheated and tried to hide it. I discovered everything, realized she was deep in the affair fog, and immediately filed for divorce. The past few months have been cold but relatively drama-free. We stayed under the same roof and continued parenting our children while slowly untangling our lives. The discovery and mediation phases moved quickly. We agreed on 50-50 custody, set schedules for holidays, and since we're in a no-fault state, the asset division followed standard rules, with a little compromise on both sides. I won't go into all the details now, maybe in a future post, but I'll be finding a place soon for a fresh start. The final conclusion is near. The divorce is basically done. Here's the advice I can share from this entire disaster. Don't do the pick-me dance. I wasted a week trying before I faced the truth. My ex is still in the fog, but that's her choice. She has to live with it. Hire a solid family law attorney. Mine was excellent, reasonable, and realistic. He helped me balance what I wanted with what was possible. I avoided huge fees by doing my own prep work and kept things moving efficiently. Lean on your support system. Friends and family helped me stay grounded through this chaos. Exercise is essential. I started lifting weights a month after D-Day. It helped my mental health, and the physical results gave me back some confidence. Get into individual counseling. Talking to a therapist has made a huge difference. Remember, their choices are on them. I've read it 1,000 times here, and it's true. My ex blamed me for everything. I was a roommate. She loved me but wasn't in love. Our marriage went wrong. I worked too much. But looking at the timeline, I see now that everything shifted after she let someone else into her life. That guy fed her lines to boost her ego and give her attention, and she built emotional walls to paint me as the villain. Sure, she was stressed with parenting, life, and a long-term relationship, but instead of talking to me, she chose to confide in a two-time divorcee with no moral compass. That's on her. It was a recipe for disaster. As for the final chapter in the epic love story between Captain Ego and Sackett Freeman from the 5-year fantasy plan, it hasn't been written yet, but bad choices have consequences. I'll leave it at that. Thank you again to everyone who's supported me. I still have a long road ahead, but there are also so many new adventures waiting. If I can help someone else going through this, please reach out. I'm here. Got a question for the group. If you followed my posts, you know the saga. My wife claimed to have the greatest emotional connection in history. QI roll. I'm finally close to moving into my own place. I stayed in the marital home throughout the process for the kids' sake and legal reasons. I've posted a few updates and, thankfully, I see the light at the end of the tunnel. Co-parenting with a cheating ex is one thing. I'm staying civil for the kids. But I've made it clear. She destroyed our marriage, and any chance at friendship went down with it. I don't have space in my life for someone who lies and betrays. Despite everything, she keeps trying to stay involved. She's offered to help decorate my new place, insists on keeping holiday traditions alive, and finds excuses to remain in my orbit. But I've stood firm. She's the one who blew up our relationship and tried to replace me. I'm just honoring that choice. I've even told her she won't be welcome in the life I'm building now. I never thought I'd be this strong, but I am. I'm healing. I'm resilient. And now I'm finally starting to see it for myself. They've adapted quicker than I expected, and the time we spend together feels more meaningful now. They know they're safe, loved, and that Dad is still here, close by, steady, and strong. To answer a question I've seen a lot, yes, my ex still tries to linger. She's made attempts to stay involved under the guise of co-parenting, even offered to help decorate my new place and maintain old holiday traditions. I've had to be firm. No room in my life for someone who blew it all up. My take? If we act friendly, it helps her rewrite the story. Pretend the split wasn't that bad. But I know the truth. I haven't seen the affair partner yet, but I'm certain it's only a matter of time before their greatest emotional connection tries to play house. I'll just be watching from a safe distance, with popcorn in hand, when that mess inevitably burns down. As of today, it's official. The decree was issued. I'm no longer married. And today, I picked up the keys to my new house. I'll be moving in as soon as possible. I chose a buyout to start completely fresh, and I got lucky. I found a beautifully maintained house less than a minute away from the old one. Huge fenced yard, fire pit, big garage, great location, and it backs up to a nature preserve. As someone who loves the outdoors, it's a dream. It feels like I have my own little slice of peace. Why so close? Because I want my kids to know I'm nearby. Always. They need that stability. Thanks to advice from this community, I stayed focused. I started working out. I dove into a new career opportunity that's now paying off in a big way. I haven't bothered chasing old connections or looking for someone new. Honestly, I'm enjoying the single life. My 2 little ones are my world, and I plan to keep pouring my energy into them and myself. As for my ex and her AP, I've let it go. That disaster isn't mine anymore. Whatever happens with them, happens. Someone once said, if you end up with someone who cheated on their spouse, you've ended up with someone who cheats. That's truth. I did my best as a husband and a father. If someone else can't see that value, someone else will. Thank you all for the support, messages, and advice. It's meant more than you know. There were so many times when I had no one nearby to talk to, and this place was my lifeline. If you're at the start of this painful journey, just keep walking, one foot in front of the other. survive each day. I'm not an expert, but I'm here if anyone needs a hand or a listening ear. I'll share a full life update soon. Some major, mostly positive, developments have come up since the divorce. But lately, with more quiet time, I've been reflecting on everything. Looking back at the life I'd planned with my ex, it's surreal how it all disappeared in a blink. I know I'm not alone in that. We had a great future ahead. Careers that finally stabilized after years of grinding. A home. 2 amazing kids now out of diapers. College funds building up. So many things going for us. And yet she threw it all away. For what? A gamble on a proven serial cheater. It's the last hurdle I need to climb emotionally. Understanding how someone could be so selfish, so short-sighted. I get that desire isn't something you can force. I understand the psychology, the honeymoon effect, the need for novelty. But damn, it still baffles me how she didn't even try. How she didn't come to me, her teammate, her partner. We're supposed to face storms together. That's the whole point of marriage. So yeah, I still struggle some days, but I'm getting stronger, and I truly thank everyone in this group again for the honesty, the empathy, the guidance, and the space to vent. Hey everyone, just wanted to give a quick update, especially for those of you newly walking through your own D-Day and wondering what the road ahead looks like. I'm now 6 weeks post-divorce decree, and I moved into my new place about a month ago. I've been pouring my energy into setting it up, and it's finally come together. Well furnished, cozy, and it truly feels like home. My home. The kids have been over several times now, and honestly, the custody rotation is going better than I ever expected. They've adjusted quickly. I used to read posts saying kids are resilient, and now I truly get it. Watching them bounce back, settle in, and find joy in the little things has been both a relief and a gift. We've built our own routines at Dad's house, movie nights, pancake breakfasts, silly inside jokes. They've told me more than once how much they love being here, and for the first time in a long time, I believe them. As for me, at first, the freedom felt strange, but I've found that making to-do lists and setting daily, weekly, and long-term goals helps a lot. I was feeling down at first, but staying busy keeps the sadness at bay. Right now, my focus is 100% on self-improvement. I've thought about dating again, but honestly, I have zero interest. My attention is on home projects, fitness, and my kids. Someone commented on one of my old posts that getting out of the shared house felt like coming up for air after being underwater. And they were absolutely right. As for the cheating ex, I keep things polite, but that's the extent of it. No sign of the infamous greatest emotional connection affair partner yet. Weird, right? But who cares anymore? Just tonight I sat outside with a beer and a cigar, enjoying the calm and quiet of my property. And all I could think was, getting away from the mess my ex created was the best move I ever made. To anyone out there still early in this nightmare, and struggling with the decision to leave, I get it. It's gut-wrenching, heartbreaking, and feels like getting kicked in the soul. But when you finally decide to eject a cheater from your life, it's the right call. And trust me, every day, it gets better. Cheers to all of you. Hey everyone, it's AC496 with another update. Big thanks again to all of you incredible people for the support and comments. I'm now 2 months into living on my own, and things are coming together beautifully. My kids are doing great, and we're making amazing memories. I've got a few fun trips lined up for us too. Following the usual advice, I've taken my training to the next level. I upgraded my home gym with better equipment and have been hitting the heavy bag regularly. It's working. At my monthly therapy session, my counselor pointed out that I'm putting on muscle in all the right places. She even said she's impressed with how far I've come mentally and physically. That bit of affirmation felt good. I haven't even bothered with dating. Still too early, and honestly, I'm loving my free time, my new projects, and hanging out with friends. So the question I'm wrestling with, has karma hit the cheater yet? Sadly, not quite. I don't have any juicy update about the AP or the downfall of their fantasy romance. In fact, it's kind of strange. This epic love hasn't been revealed publicly at all. The affair partner is still a secret. So why is that? Is my ex trying to manage her image? Waiting for the right time to reveal him? Isn't the thrill of sneaking around gone now? I'm not even in the picture anymore. And yet, she still hides her phone when I'm around during kid-related stuff. I know they're still communicating. She makes it obvious. But why all the secrecy? If this guy was so amazing and their love was so deep, why not show him off now that the terrible ex-husband is out of the way? Has anyone else experienced this? where your ex and the affair partner stay hidden even after the dust settles. Hi everyone, almost 6 months post-divorce now, and nearly a year since D-Day. Posting here has been incredibly healing, and I know many of you have followed my journey. I've gotten messages, encouragement, and hope from this community, and now I want to return the favor. So, 6 months out, and a lot of good things have happened. My house is not only fully furnished, it feels like home. My kids have adjusted well to the new routine. They love coming over, and they've even made some friends in the neighborhood. I'm deeply thankful that they've handled this transition with such grace. They just get it now. There's dad time, there's mom time, and there's no sadness, no confusion, no tears. Outside of parenting, I've thrown myself into home improvement projects. The house had been a bit neglected by the previous owner, an older divorced guy. But I've embraced the work. Little by little, I've made it mine. I even built out a full home gym. Boxing, lifting, grinding it out. My body's finally starting to feel like mine again. This journey isn't over, but for the first time in a long time, I'm proud of the man I'm becoming. And yet, she still finds ways to pull me back into the chaos. She knows exactly what she's doing, inviting the affair partner, still in hiding, to our daughter's birthday, at my old house, surrounded by people who know the truth. That's not co-parenting. That's bait. It's manipulation, clear as day. The whole thing feels like a trap. I already had a special celebration with my daughter last weekend. She loved it, and it was genuine. Now this upcoming party feels like a social stunt. My ex gets to parade around like a great mom, surrounded by her flying monkeys, while quietly introducing OM into a family setting as if everything is just peachy, and I'm expected to sit there and smile. I called her out on it, told her straight up how tone-deaf and inappropriate it was to invite him. No reply, not even a courtesy message acknowledging what she's doing. That tells me all I need to know. She wants me to show up and be uncomfortable, to create some image of, we're all fine now, like I'm part of some weird blended family she engineered out of lies and betrayal. A few folks here encouraged me to still attend, but to do so on my terms. Show up confident. Dress well, fresh cut. Let them see I've been working on myself, physically and emotionally. Stay calm, stay composed. Be there for my daughter, but don't linger long. Make an impression, not for them, but for myself. Honestly, I hate that it's come to this. A child's birthday shouldn't feel like a battlefield, but I'm not going to let it break me. I'll show up because I'm her dad, and she deserves that. But I won't give them the satisfaction of rattling me. To others who've dealt with this kind of ambush, how did you handle it? Did you regret going? Or did holding your head high give you a kind of quiet win? Earlier thoughts and reflections. Hey everyone, AC496 here again. I just wanted to share something from a recent conversation I had with a buddy of mine over a few too many beers. Sometimes the best therapy is just talking it out with someone who's been through the same storm. My friend went through a nearly identical divorce situation 7 years ago, down to the ex having the same birthday as mine. We were talking about how frustrating it still is that my ex and OM continue to sneak around, even 6 months after D-Day. I've been low contact with her, but the kids drop comments sometimes, and yeah, it still stings. He could see I was frustrated, and he said something that really clicked. Dude, think about their lives. 2 cheaters stuck with each other. He's a low-value clown who manipulated a married woman with kids. Now, they have to make it work, because if it falls apart, they both look like fools. You or I. We can meet someone new, start fresh. No pressure, no damage. But them, they're stuck with the wreckage. He's living in the house you built. He has to play stepdad to your kids. He inherits your ex and her in-laws. That's not a relationship, that's a sentence. But you? You're free. That one hit hard. And this morning, I woke up with clarity I hadn't felt in a while. They chose the mess. I chose freedom. And the truth is, I'm lucky. I've made it through the storm and come out standing. Yeah, I still struggle, especially mentally. Focus, anxiety, intrusive thoughts. But therapy and fitness are working. I'm progressing. I've been keeping my divorce private at work, and somehow I didn't just avoid disaster. I actually got a raise. People have noticed my efforts, and my career is on the rise. I'm not sure how I pulled it off, but I did. I think less and less about my ex every day, and every step away from her brings relief. As for her, still deep in fantasy land, still trying to control the optics, still sneaking around with OM like they're hiding from ghosts. I've accepted that whatever happens next is no longer my concern. I'm just thankful I'm no longer tied to someone who can lie to your face and feel zero remorse. So to everyone who supported me, thank you, truly. To the newcomers, it sucks. It really does. But there's peace waiting on the other side. You just have to keep walking toward it. Good riddance to the past. Here's to what's next. And looking back now, maybe everything played out just the way it was meant to. Hey everyone, it's AC496 again. And wow, what a wild, satisfying, hilarious turn of events. First off, thank you so much to everyone who responded to my last few updates. The level of support, insight, and just pure kindness from this group continues to blow me away. You've all been my life raft through this storm, and I can't thank you enough. Now let's get into the juicy part. So earlier this week, I told my ex that I'd be attending the party for our daughter. But what I didn't do was tell her when I changed my mind. Instead, on Saturday morning, I stopped by to drop off a birthday card and present, quietly, respectfully, but with just enough style. I rolled up in my sports car. Yeah, I'm owning that win, only to spot OM's crusty ride parked on the street. You can already imagine the grin on my face. I walked around to the backyard, and boom, there they were, my ex and OM, mid-decoration. The look on their faces was pure panic. OM couldn't even look me in the eye, just gave a weak, "Oh hey man," while staring at the ground. I swear I didn't feel anger in that moment, just pity. Like, this is who you traded down to? This is what you torched our family for? It was a strange moment of clarity. I calmly told my ex I was just there to drop off the present, and I wouldn't be staying. She was stunned, and in the sweetest voice I've heard from her in ages, she nearly begged me to stay. I smiled and told her I'd be giving my daughter her gift at her grandparents' place instead. Before leaving, I gave Om a quick, "See you later, bro," just to seal the moment with the class he never earned. Minutes later, I got a call from my ex, again asking me to reconsider. I politely refused, dropped by the in-laws, gave my daughter her gift, played with the kids for a bit, and said goodbye. No drama, no explanation, just grace. Later I worked on the house, hit a much-needed workout, and even went on a date that night. Nothing serious, but it felt good to be out again. My daughter called to thank me for the gift, and she didn't even ask why I wasn't there. As so many of you said, kids don't miss what they don't notice in those moments. She was having fun, that's all that mattered. And now for a bit of Friday humor. So one of the only in-laws who didn't turn their back on me texted during the party, "Hey man, let's grab beers this week. Your presence is missed here." Fast forward, we meet, beers flow, and the stories come out. Apparently the party was a total dumpster fire. People were awkward, avoiding eye contact. My ex never even introduced OM to anyone. She stayed on the opposite side of the yard from him the entire time, barking orders while he stood around like a lost intern. Even better, the in-laws didn't speak to him. They sat together looking annoyed, whispering among themselves. OM ended up spending most of the party inside, away from the guests, basically hiding. Some of the extended family, especially from the uncle's side, were overheard saying how classless the whole thing was. I couldn't stop laughing. Not out of spite, just that kind of laugh you get when the universe handles your dirty work for you. My absence didn't go unnoticed. Everyone saw through the charade. And my earlier visit to drop off the gift was also mentioned. People knew I had made the effort, and then chose not to show up. That spoke volumes. To anyone doubting their gut, trust it. I nearly gave in and went to that party, and honestly, it would have wrecked me. Instead, I held the line. I protected my peace, kept my dignity, and walked away feeling like I won. Because I did. Thanks again to this incredible group. Keep walking forward, my friends. The karma train is always on schedule. You just have to be still long enough to hear it coming. And from what I've heard, the family understood exactly why I wasn't there. Mission accomplished. Anyway, that's my little Friday dose of humor. For those of you who are new to this whole mess, going through your own storm of betrayal, heartbreak, and divorce, I can't stress this enough. Take the high road. Act with dignity. Carry yourself with class. And keep your focus on living the best version of your life. It's not always satisfying in the short term. You'll want to clap back. You'll want justice. You'll want people to see what really happened. But the truth is, like weight training, results take time. You show up, do the work, push through the pain, and eventually you start to see real, meaningful change. Healing isn't loud. It's steady, quiet, earned. So if you're in the thick of it right now, hang in there. Keep your head high. Keep your heart guarded, and keep walking forward.